I just want to let you know, jail's not that bad. It sucks, but it's not the worst thing ever. So don't fret if that. I hope it doesn't happen, but if it does happen, it's not that bad.
Good to know.
Sam?
Yep, that's Martin Shkreli, Pharma Bro, telling SBF that, prison's not that bad. And something tells me SBF won't be doing that well in jail. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Zerkadowski here. We are Change.org. And there's a huge plethora of absolutely crazy news happening right now on the world stage, from Ukraine to the G20 meetings that has a very notable absence from it right now. But don't worry, we have someone fitting in for the President of the United States who's announcing some new plans, some new initiatives that, of course, will be having some far-reaching effects for you, your family, in the future of not just this country, but this world. What are they? We're going to be talking about that, as well as just the terrible luck that Republicans are having with these midterm elections. The FBI just admitting a major bombshell right now with January 6th. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing right now, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast looks like it was faked, according to some people, and that SBF guy wasn't in there. And it kind of makes sense, since, of course, SBF paid a whole bunch of money to politicians in the United States, which essentially allows him to have a protection racket and a get away from jail free card, which of course some of the richest people in this world have. Some of the richest people meeting right now at the G20, happening right now in Bali, Indonesia, as of course in Kiev, Ukraine right now. There are rockets raining down on the energy infrastructure of that country, specifically Russian military targeted strikes, meant of course to cripple the energy infrastructure in that country and prevent Ukraine from being able to keep the lights on. This, as there's also other reports of some of the Russian cruise missiles being intercepted by Ukrainian air defense that was provided to them by the United States. All of this as the Russians just recently retreated from a key southern city in that country, Kherson, which of course is very close to Crimea. We also have to remember Vladimir Putin made statements before a couple weeks ago saying that at this upcoming G20, he hopes, of course, to meet with the President of the United States and be able to negotiate some kind of larger deal here, while, of course, let's be honest here, the U.S. representation at this G20 meeting hasn't been very impressive, with moments like this from the President of the United States.
I can't have trouble reading this. Reuters, Netanyahu boasts.
Leaving a lot of people asking the question, how do you negotiate someone? How do you make a deal with someone that can't even read their own notes? As of course the President of the United States is also saying that somehow China's invasion of Taiwan is not imminent, which makes people believe that it is now. This, as just moments ago in the making of this video, he just skipped a major gala with the world leaders and has decided to, of course, go to his hotel at 8 p.m. local time in Bali, Indonesia, with the White House officially saying that this was a, quote, last-minute change because it's, quote, been a long day, and that, quote, he has other matters he needed to attend to. Yeah, very troubling, worrying accounts coming from the G20 that should make a lot of people concerned, especially when it comes to the larger geopolitical picture that is unfolding and changing in front of our eyes. But don't worry, don't fret. We, of course, have Klaus Schwab, the unaccountable, corrupted businessman, there to take Biden's place, as of course he was seen here walking into the G20 meeting with the Prime Minister of New Zealand that has been carrying out his orders very diligently and doing exactly like she's told, implementing, of course, the Great Reset, Build Back Better agenda that is usually just a larger Ponzi scheme to enslave and rob people of their wealth and freedom. Just like FTX, the official partner group of the World Economic Forum, that the World Economic Forum is trying to scrub away from the internet and make you forget about that, as the WEF has just been scrubbing and hiding their past with their official partner and major money launderer, Democratic Party supporter SBF, which they really don't want you remembering. But hey, SBF was just doing what the World Economic Forum wants, saying that you will be owning nothing and that you will be happy. He implemented that plan, especially defrauding his customers to the tune of billions of dollars, which is not that far off from, of course, what Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum have been pushing with their unofficial, unelected policies that politicians carry out as if they were their daily orders. Klaus Schwab also gave a keynote at the G20, which should have a lot of people asking, who elected this guy? Why is he there? Why does he get a seat at the table? Why does everyone have to listen to him? A question that, of course, people should be asking themselves, as the title of his speech at the G20 was, quote, "We must restructure the world." Now, I'm being a little facetious. It didn't sound like that. It sounded, it sounded more like that. Hey, at least to me, it did. He specifically said there need to be, quote, "the deep, systematic restructuring of the world, and this will take some time, and the world will look differently after we have gone through this transition process." What kind of transition? What kind of process? Where are we going from and to? Well, I think it's fair to say that we're going to more centralization of power and authority to, of course, this corrupted businessman, his corporate billionaire buddies, and, of course, the politicians that essentially do their bidding for them. As one of the major calling cards of total totalitarianism is what the G20 is calling for, and that, of course, is global digital health passports, aka a social credit score, just like it's being used right now in China, that is meant to control every aspect of your life and existence. And as the G20 is going, the New York Federal Reserve just announced a, quote, multi-global banking start to a 12-week digital dollar pilot, which of course will create the central bank digital currency, and with a cashless society, a society where you need to show your identification and passport of compliance to the state just to be able to exist, just to be able to walk down the street, highlights a total draconian, totalitarian, centralized slave peasant reality that Klaus Schwab and other World Economic Forum members want you to be living in. Again, one of the major things that the World Economic Forum has been calling for is this digital ID. And if it's implemented worldwide, it would essentially allow them to control everyone and everything, having all of your information, all of your data sets, and deciding how you will live a life that they want you living in. And that is something that I absolutely refuse to live in. And this is one reason out of the many reasons why I started LukeUncensored.com, our own underground railroad forum members area where we provide you a video almost every single day on providing you the most amount of important information so you can make the right moves and decisions in your life. In today's video, we have a lot to talk about, especially when it comes to the future of cryptocurrencies, money, what's happening in Ukraine, what's really actually happening in Russia, and some other crazy things that we cannot talk about here on this particular broadcast. Those topics will be specifically discussed all on LukeUncensored.com, specifically when it comes to men's health. That video available later on today, LukeUncensored.com, along with 3 masterclasses, exclusive merchandise, exclusive access to events, you name it, we got it. All of this is only available for members of LukeUncensored.com. See you there right after this video, which of course is still not over. We still got a lot of crazy things to get into, as of course the redheaded libertarian just officially came out and said, quote, Republicans are like, what, 0 for 12 and winning in states where it takes more than 12 hours to call elections, calling this terrible luck. All of this as Carrie Lake, a very populist candidate in Arizona, just officially lost to Katie Hobbs, who was also the person overseeing the elections in Arizona and refused to recuse herself. This as there was also voting machine boxes that were malfunctioning, which is leaving a lot of people asking themselves, what in the world's going on here? This, as also today we have yet another bombshell with the New York Times reporting on the FBI finally admitting, after they lied, that there was a lot of informants inside of the Proud Boys group, a right-wing group that actively participated in the January 6th events in Washington, D.C., as today we're finding out that there was at least 8 informants working for the FBI inside of that group that actively took part in the actions on January 6th, including even walking in and barraging themselves into the Capitol of the United States, finding themselves with altercations with Capitol police officers. This as officially working for the FBI. This, as we also found out a couple days ago, that the second in command of the Oath Keepers, another right-wing group that participated in the January 6th events, was also working for the FBI at the time, showing us conclusively right now that FBI agents actively took part in the January 6th insurrection, while of course knowing everything about it and what was going to happen, as they also actively took part in planning it and executing those actions on January 6th. Because right now, if you're at the FBI, how can you deny not knowing what was going on here when the second in command of the major group that's being punished for this action was working for the FBI, most likely being paid by your tax dollars, raising some serious questions, which should have a lot of people asking themselves, what really did happen on that day? What role did they take part in? How were my taxes used for this larger event, which has been a major galvanizing event used for, of course, many propaganda and PR purposes? Questions that I think a lot of people should be asking themselves. And if you agree with that, share this video with your friends and family members. I still got a lot more to say. Going to be saying it on LukeUncensored.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on LukeUncensored.com. Sorry, wearechange.org.